What's up with y'all young boys? Welcome back to another Hemi Boys Reacts YouTube video. And today, have I got a special treat for y'all. This is a Chelsea DeNofa video, right? I'm pretty sure this is on Adam LZ's little burn yard, stuff like that. Hey man, these people always make fire content, man. I've been watching them for a while. The title of this video is the Perfect AE86 Doesn't Exist, ... It does, comma, and dude, ... It rips. Hopefully it does rip, because I want to see it rip. I love AE86s. They're great track cars, great drift cars, great all-around car in general. So, let's get to it. Hopefully this video is fire. Like I said, remember, go check out the main channel. Go check out the reaction TikTok, right? For this reaction channel where I upload all of my clips and stuff. Go subscribe to that or follow, whatever TikTok does. But yeah, turn on the post notifications, subscribe, turn on them post alerts, stuff like that. Let's get to it. Already he's already ripping this thing. That thing sounds good. That color is amazing too. The wheels too, man.
Bought,
that thing is overall
not built.
Nice.
Not to be confused with built, not bought. Sometimes it makes a lot more sense to just buy a car that already has every single thing that you need and want done to it. Obviously, that's really, really hard to find, and sometimes it comes with a larger initial investment, but it's almost always cheaper if you find something that has all of the core parts that you want. So I obviously had, and some of you may know, Adam drove it at the compound, but I have a white GTS coupe, and it's pretty beat, but mechanically it's amazing. It's super fun to drive, and I had planned on cleaning that up and doing like 11 front, painting it British Racing green. I planned on doing a 20 valve or a beam swap and some other things. And then I found this car for sale, and it literally saved me probably 5 or 6 grand and 200 or 300 hours of my life, which I only have about 200 or 300 hours of my life open that I'm not working and racing and drifting and traveling and doing all that. So it saved me over a year to most people. So I picked this up in Chicago. It was listed on Facebook Marketplace. So you may have seen this car before. It was Colin Frost.
So he basically bought an AE86, right? That was basically fully built to the way he wanted his old AE86 to be built. That's pretty smart.
Frost's car, he did a Hoonigan video in it, and some other things.
I would definitely do
years ago. I don't know exactly how long ago it was.
If I found a
but he's the one who built the car, and he did a fantastic
condition,
job on it. Really, like everything is there the way it should be. The car was built pretty much to the expectations that I would have for myself to build a fun car and not like a competitive car that drains a bunch of time. So I bought this instead of building it. So first off, you'll notice has 11 front end. This front end in sheet metal, which is what I wanted to do the previous car, is like over $4,000 now in parts between the headlights, fenders, hood, and all that. I think the fenders are Origin, the hood is D-Max, and the aero kit itself is CYB, which is a company in Japan. Just these headlights are nearing $1,000 for the pair without any brackets or anything. Without corner lights. Like, the price of this stuff is getting absolutely insane. And a D-Max hood is pretty sick. It matches the vibe of the car. I really like the front bumper, especially how it kind of tucks itself back up to the radiator, so it's funneling air directly to the radiator. It's British Racing Green, which was the plan to paint my car British Racing Green anyway. So we were halfway there. Except it has a spray painted Panda kit on it right now.
At one point, you see these things.
It had a BCL wing on it, but was removed. I kind of like the style without the wing. I prefer the coupe over the sedan, over the hatchback. I know most people are the other way because initial D and all the Ricer action, but my prefer is always just coupes, notches, all that stuff with most of my cars, except if it's offered in 4-door, and then you have to have a 4-door. It has some TE knockoffs, which seems to be the thing with most of these cars. I'm gonna buy some real wheels for it. I think the move is probably to put some Demon cambers on it because I love those. For the investment that's into this car, I think I kind of want some real wheels, but I will definitely run these when I'm going to the track and drifting as rears. Has upgraded brakes like WinMax pads. There's small wheel spacer in the rear, and I think the wheel spec of this, if what he said is correct, it's 15.9.
That thing is nice,
-10,
man. I'm just looking at it right now. This
especially because there's no camber in the back.
That color is amazing on that car.
Everything is just kind of sorted. I don't want to change anything on the outside. I think it looks great. So I'm really happy to kind of buy something that
that thing is
was already built the way I wanted it. So inside, if you are a Corolla fan and you've done some research, most of the Corolla interior pieces are like impossible to find and absurd amounts of money. This car does have most of the things. It's obviously missing some of the key features, but it doesn't have door cards. It has these T3 door, like metal door cards, which aren't bad. They have like the pull strap and stuff, but they actually like free up quite a bit of room for the driving experience, which I think is cool. The dash has a cover on it, but it's actually like an OE looking cover. I don't know if I'll put AC in it, but I'll probably end up putting some sort of heat circulation.
Hey man, I mess with that, man. They got the fan in the whip. If it don't have AC, put you a fan in it. Just like you put like a little.
He had some aftermarket seats in it,
if so you don't have no,
I didn't want them, so he put these MR2 seats in there.
Like
it's pretty complete. It's missing some of the pillar stuff. It's got a harness bar put in, which obviously is kind of a danger zone type of scenario, but I have to find regular seat belts, which could be pretty hard. But just overall, everything's there and it works and it's nice, and everything is nice. Exactly what I would want from it. I don't need any more than what this kind of is. Let's go ahead and take a look at the motor too. Under the hood is where this thing shines. Nice, it's pretty rad. So it's a 20 valve, black top, like with stacks. So it's got T3. I think they're like probably 60 or 70 mil long stacks. I'm not exactly sure what they are. Honestly, after driving it,
induction noise is
I feel like it needs an ECU tune, so we're probably going to put a link on it.
Bro, the induction noise from like 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, stuff like that, and even like 8-cylinders and stuff like that, but mainly like the 4, 5, 6-cylinders. Man, those, like when you watch the old rally cars and the DTM cars, and when they're speeding by and they have that sucking noise, man, it sounds crazy. It sounds like you're in a wind tunnel. It sounds like they're in a wind tunnel when they go past you, and then the exhaust noise that comes right after it, man. But you could always hear that individual throttle body noise. That induction noise is just beautiful, man. And it's only something you could really get when you have individual throttle bodies, man. That's why I love cars with individual throttle bodies, and that response time of a naturally aspirated engine is just amazing, man. People do too much forced induction. People do too much supercharged action, turboed action, but they never really get to the individual throttle body stuff like that. People just don't want a cool car. They just want to be the fastest. And I feel like one of the coolest ways you could build a car is probably an equal length exhaust setup with a set of ITBs. Bro, come on now. It's like BMW. They have their V10 with the individual throttle bodies, and it sounds amazing. And then they have their V8 with the individual throttle bodies, and they sound amazing. I'm telling you.
Panic does a ton of link ECU integrations with the Beams motors and the 20 valves motors, so I'm sure it'll make a lot more power with that. I just feel like right now the stacks are too short and they don't have enough torque, so some longer ones would make a little bit more torque. The engine is completely stock. You have a lot of room for some longer stock cams, stock everything, but everything has been redone. So new water pump, timing belt,
I definitely want to do
all of the accessories on the front are new alternator, and this is kind of cool too. The distributor is mounted on the front. Typically it's mounted on the back, which means then you have to basically cut the firewall, and you can like adjust your timing from inside of the car. Like all this stuff, like everywhere you look, it's Tanabe strut bar, but everywhere you look, it's just like pretty nice, like not overbuilt, but just like quality parts put together.
It's very nice. Cool. You have a
for
lot
a street car build that's reliable, and like being that this is an old car, it takes a lot of effort to do everything.
And put a turbo right below it.
So underneath this thing is partially the reason why I purchased the car. There is zero rust anywhere on the entire car, which for an 80s Toyota is pretty hard to find. So frame rails are really clean and no damage or crashing of any sort. It's got all the battle version arms, the panhard setup, upper and lower arms. It's got a CAS two-way, which actually works really good. My other Corolla has a Cusco diff and it's gnarly, whereas this is a little bit more drivable on the street. It already had BCs, which is sick. It's a 4.7 ring and pinion too, I forgot about that. HKS exhaust, which obviously was modified at some point by somebody with a MIG welder that didn't have enough heat. The trans is a standard T50, but it's been rebuilt, and it has a M Factory, I think is a company, 5th gear. So it's a longer fifth gear ratio. So that way you have all the benefit of having the 4/7, like short ratio gear, but then fifth for highway cruising is not so bad. 80 is about 4,000 RPM, 3,900, which is pretty reasonable. Normally it would be about 4,700. So it drops RPM quite a bit and probably saves oil consumption quite a bit. At some point somebody did a header for this. It's the company that builds the header itself is Silk Road, but they made like a mid pipe here that's like TIG welded and kind of fancy, and then they put a flex pipe in it,
nice,
and heat shield, and then heat shielding on the chassis too. It's got, I think these are T3, which is Techno Toy tuning, suspension arms, so it's got lower arms,
if you got it for
tension
anything
rod
around
with a
15
bracket
grand, I
that
mean,
bolts on here, so it gets rid of
for
the
the
rubber
JDM
bushing,
and all that stuff
the
done to
tie
it.
rod,
Well, I'm not
and then I'm not sure who makes the knuckle adapter, probably the same company, but it's kind of neat. It's got 2 holes drilled in it. So this would be like a road driving regular setup, and then this would be like more of a drifting setup because it's shorter, which means every little bit of steering input you give it allows it to have more steering angle. It's got roll center correctors, and basically what that does is drop the knuckle down, so it helps better set up the bump steer and gives the hub a little bit different of a geometry, so it like lowers the car without changing the geometry of the lower arm. And this is like I said, this is the first time I'm going over all this, so I'm just absorbing it all right now. Yeah, super clean underneath, and finding these cars in this condition nowadays is extremely hard. So to be able to find one that had all the parts that I wanted, especially in the chassis side of things and all the work already done, saves me a ton of time and money. So since I just drove this thing back from the Chicago area, I'm gonna do a nut and bolt check because I wanna go drive it today. Obviously we drove it this far. I felt a couple little things that were loose in the front, but nothing that was disastrous. And then I also found out that
undercarriage, man, the thing is beautiful, man. The underside of that car is beautiful. I mean, you can tell it has a little bit of dirt and grime, stuff like that, but I don't see not one lick of rust on that thing. That thing has to have been garage kept or is in a state that is just dry. All I see is just dirt. That's it. Or grime, just grime. Not even really dirt, it's just grime. The exhaust it's not even rusty at all. Like, this thing had to have been garage kept or somewhere very dry to the point where they don't see any type of water, anything like that, anything that's corrosive to metal. They had to have garage kept this thing because it is way too clean. This car is actually beautiful, man. Like, depending on the price that he got this thing for, this thing might have been a steal.
That in the steering, the wheel is actually
now
touching the firewall a little bit when we're actually driving when it's on the ground. So I'm going to adjust and give it a little bit more caster, which will pull it away from that.
Right here. And
it'll obviously give it a little more self-steer too, which is not really the reason I'm doing it, more just so that I don't have any rubbing and clearancing issues like this. And then we'll reset the toe because that's going to change the toe, and we'll go.
The lift has more rust in this car.
This is the most frustrating thing as a mechanic. I just put a brand new glove on, just blew a hole in it. When you're doing Heims, you want to make sure they're centered when you tighten it down. So you can get like a little pry bar and center it, like so, and then torque it down. Because when you torque it down, it'll rotate the Heim, and then you'll have the Heim at like a really bad angle.
I definitely want to build a drift car.
So having it in the middle gives most of the articulation before it binds. Almost every car I look at has the Heims set up so they're like that. And one's maxed out on one side, one's maxed out on the other. So any movement is just basically destroying the Heim. Center the Heim, center the Heim. It's good. Okay, so obviously the seat that came in here was not ideal. So we're gonna throw a Recaro velour in there. I feel like it's the seat that should be in there. It's like, you know, Euro seat, but a lot of the Japanese use it. I feel like a lot of Corollas back in the day had this very similar seat in it. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this
nice,
in there.
man.
And when I bought it, the car, he had a seat bracket
expensive.
for it already. So hopefully,
the 190E seats, the Recaro
put it
seats,
in there and we're ready to go.
They're like $2,000 a seat.
So my first drive of this car was 1,400 miles from Chicago to here, but we're gonna take you guys for a first cruise so you can hear some of the noises this thing makes. It's super drivable. The throttle response is really good, but the intake
sounds good.
This Corvette's trying to race me. It's so good, and like
I'm sure the Corvette is
it's not super exhaust loud. It's all
naturally
induction, not
aspirated.
loud, so that's cool. Fourth, we go to fifth, it drops all the way to 3,000. So fifth gear is a great cruising gear.
It's just different.
Like I said, it's like all the way
JDM fanboy,
just
but you
stop
gotta
ECU,
appreciate
so it's
something
super
that's
snappy,
beautiful,
super
whatever it is.
responsive, but it's super rich and it could use a lot more like fine tuning. So in the future, I see myself putting a link in this thing and probably some cams, and I think it'll be pretty much right
Definitely,
where we
man.
want it.
Definitely. There's no reason why you shouldn't. Thing sounds good, though. You those throttle bodies. Get into it already.
Hey!
Man, I wanna. That thing is beautiful. It sounds so good. That thing sounds so good, man.
It drifts! The handbrake does not work at all, though. So this is no handbrake. It's super fun, though. I'm gonna do some more laps and try to figure it out. Hell yeah!
That thing sounds so good. Oh my God. Look at the fan going everywhere. I'm surprised we didn't see Walter White in this video. He's always showing up. He's there with me. So I guarantee Walter's gonna be here That thing is nice, man. I can't get over the way this thing looks, man. I just keep on staring at it. It looks very good. It looks very clean. I can see why he said, yeah, this is what
She's
he
a
wanted.
ripper, bud.
Look at Adam. Is that Adam?
Wow!
No, it isn't. Never mind.
Handbrakes for
It
pussies
looked
is way
like him
more
with
fun
a
without it.
mustache.
If it had a handbrake, it wouldn't work. Like, it would not have enough speed. Is all my arrows still attached?
Yeah, look great.
It's amazing.
A little wet on the back half, but that's all right.
Oh yeah, I was deep. I was like, I'm not
he's
gonna
right
go
there,
in there.
never
That
mind.
looks bad.
I thought it was
Went
the
all
first
the way
dude,
in there.
man. Jesus.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not super loud, just all
What's wrong?
induction. What's up?
We're not using the handbrake.
It doesn't work at all. I made it the long way. I just shift locked into first, dude. Slamming it first. I feel like I'm like 16 again.
Look like it too.
What a dick.
This thing is nice, man. Man, this thing is nice.
Best car ever. Holy shnikes. What a ripper. Shred apocalypse, dude.
All right, that's gonna be it for this video. As you guys can see, this was a fire video. The AE86 is fire. Y'all go check him out, right? Original video is gonna be in the link in the description. The main channel is gonna be in the link in the description too. But you guys go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Get your mama to watch it, your daddy to watch it, your dog to watch it, everybody. Get everybody to watch it. Share this video, blow this channel up. Go follow the main channel too. Just hit 900 subscribers. Trying to hit 1,000, trying to get that monetization. But I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a beautiful day. Bye.